Hello everybody and welcome back to Local Farmer's Diary. I am your local farmer Jimmy and it is mowing time. We're going to be mowing our clover today. It is ready to rock and roll and we have perfect weather for getting this mowed today, which is Saturday. Be able to basically let it dry tomorrow on Sunday, and then Monday we should be able to rake it up and get it baled and put away. So yesterday afternoon we spent some time freezing up and doing some maintenance here on our dicbine. Make sure it's ready to go for the first cut of the season. Go ahead and get started on opening up the field. I think Razik's going to be joining us here at some point and have some wonderful aerial shots. But for now, we are just going to be, well, doing it the old-fashioned way with using a GoPro here that's on top of my cap. And I'll be opening up the field. I'm going to make 3 or 4 rounds around the field just to open it up real good. And then we'll start making some up and down passes. Thing unfolded, and what we're actually going to do is put this kind of in more of a trailed configuration. Really don't have that much room on the field. Levers up to speed. Going in and pop her down and squares. All right. So we're just going to do 3 or 4 passes around the field. Open it up. First pass here, we're going to be in this trailed configuration. And then the second pass, we'll open it up and do it in an offset. Configuration. Now looking at the weather, pull it up here in a little bit. Got good clear weather today. It is overcast, but we do have a little bit of a breeze. That'll help with the drying. We don't have maybe the sun bearing down on it. Tomorrow, Sunday, and it's going to be a little bit overcast, and we're going to have a nice breeze on the out from the east. That'll help dry it out. And then Monday we've got partially sunny weather, clear, warm, so perfect weather to this raked up. Probably rake it in the morning, bring the round baler out, and get this all baled up in the afternoon. Get back around here to the opening of the field. We will check the weather forecast as we're getting this thing set up in a offset configuration. Alright, so let's go ahead and one over in that direction. That'll work. Pull up the weather forecast. Okay, we've got good weather, decent temps up into the mid 80s, but really good wind speed. Be breezy, even though it's cloudy. Got beneficial drying conditions today. Tomorrow, the same. Colds, high around mid 80s. Again, beneficial drying conditions. Not quite as windy as today, but still good and windy. Monday, partially sunny, a little cooler, but be perfect weather to get this raked up and baled. And we've got good conditions on Tuesday to possibly get all the bales hauled in here. So spun back up. Close down. Okay. Just going to run right along the edge, and that should catch it. Lots of farmers around here have been switching over to the more European style mowers. Mowers with butterfly mowers, I think they're called. But we're still old school here. Our dicbine works perfectly well. No real need to spend the money to upgrade our mower. Not at this point. Not doing a whole ton of hay work anyway. They don't take a whole lot. Typically we can satisfy their needs off of just one field. If we ever go into a larger operation, then we would need more. Good. Might want to come around and do a little cleanup work here around the edges. Just to have an old hay bine. The difference between the hay bine and the dicbine was that the hay bine, the cutting mechanism was a sickle bar. Hay bine operated at 540 RPM on the PTO, whereas the dicbine here operates on the 1000 RPM PTO line. Dicbine has spinning blades. Never seen the blades. The blades are kind of interesting to look at. Only about 2 inches long, and they're held in by a single bolt. So, when they're not on, they're not spinning, you can just freely move them around with your finger. And that's designed so if they hit anything hard, like a rock, branch, or anything like that, big branch, big piece of wood, the blade will just flip, move, and it won't damage the blade, damage the equipment. But when it's spinning at that high RPM, cutting soft things like grass and sadly flesh, they'll just slice right through it. Kind of interesting. You think it'd have big blades, kind of like you would expect to see on a mower. No, it's just got these little small blades that are mounted on these big spinning discs, spinning wheels. And haybine, the operating speed was much slower than the dicbine here. Dicbine allows us to mow at a higher speed. Also allows us to mow thicker and taller crop. We're back when we had just the, let me just, I'm here. Good. I remember back when we had the haybine, there would be times where just couldn't get a good window of opportunity to get the hay cut. So it got a little bit taller than we really needed it to or wanted it to. And it was a real struggle to get mowed with the haybine because of the fact that it wasn't designed for that thick of material. Dicbine here, no problem. No problem at all. I think what we'll do is when we get around here on this pass, I'll just jump out and just check, see how we are on the conditioning. Need to put any more pressure on the rollers. This spine here has some rollers on the back, kind of help crumple the crop, help maybe squeeze a little bit of moisture out of it without damaging it too much. Does help it with the drying process. There are the birds. Birds come by whenever you do a fresh cut. Bugs, beetles, worms, anything else that might get caught up in the mower. Good. Crank down a little bit more on this. Do a couple cranks. Good. I see Raz coming over here, so we'll be able to do some aerial shots. That'll help tell the story. Come back up. Drop her back down, and we'll go ahead and we'll just finish off this bit here. And like I said, we'll do our up and down passes. Our first pass, trying to just pick a tree right there, and drive toward it. Things set up in a trailed configuration. Then we'll swing it out. Kind of alternate. So just to break out of the role play a little bit and just talk about the map and the crop here. Keen-eyed among you may notice that clover looks a wee different than it did maybe in a previous video. And that is because, well, first time I went to shoot this mowing video, I discovered that while I thought clover on this map was mowable, it was not. On any other map that I have experienced clover on, which is fairly limited, still, any other map where I have seen clover and played clover, clover's been mowable. And on this map, I discovered when I ran the mower over it, it did indeed drop a windrow, but the crop didn't really go away. The top of the crop went away, but probably 3/4 of the crop was still in the field. Didn't make any sense to me. So then I was looking at the harvester headers, normal wheat, barley, oat, soybean harvester headers, and they had an icon for clover. And I was like, what? Is this clover somehow set up to, like, you harvest it for clover seed? And instead of dropping, let's say, straw, it drops grass. Then, you know, why is it leaving part of the crop? So, I had my illustrious producer mention it to him, and Darren took a look at the map, looked at some other maps with clover, and got me over some changes to make. One of those changes was visual, changing the visual appearance of the clover, and another one was XML changes, basically to make it mowable. That's what we've done. So if you're playing this map, clover is not going to behave like this. Changed it because that was kind of the setup. Planted a field of clover, mow clover, make clover hay, if you will, and feed clover hay to my sheep. What I was going to do. So it wouldn't really work if all of a sudden the clover field was transitioned over to grass, or if the clover field was suddenly transitioned over to alfalfa. Assuming alfalfa was mowable. Usually I don't like making a bunch of changes to maps when I do plays like this, simply because I know some folks want to play along, if you will. Some folks will want to plant the same crops in the same fields and basically play along. We have a video about harvesting a particular crop. They will hopefully be in the same position where they can do the same thing, kind of play along. So that means that you're not going to be able to exactly play along in this regard for clover. regret that. I'm a little interested in how is this clover really set up. Really set up to use a traditional harvester and harvester header to harvest the clover to get seed, and then pick up the windrow. I didn't try it, but that's the only thing that makes any sense to me. That explains why the clover visually looks different and everything. Now, when we're mowing this, this should be just coming out as semi-dry grass versus some sort of, cut clover, which is fine because that means that I can then kind of use the seasons process of it laying on the field over time, drying, needing to rake it and bale it. Not really concerned with super straight rows here, because we will be windrowing it, and how it lays on the field now is not how it's going to look once we're done windrowing it. And that's basically all we're going to do for this video. Is get this cut. Next video will be, hopefully, things go well, us raking and baling this field, making clover, quote clover hay that we'll then be able to put into our bale stack. Hey guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think of our Local Farmer's Diary series? How do you think gameplay is going? Role play, the story plot. Seeing this local farmer been caught up with the filming, farming craze. Raznik, our drone flyer. Look at these going on. Darren, our producer, secretly doing all kinds of work in the background to make the show a better show. And until next time, happy farming.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.